Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. There are 174 new cases of COVID-19 in Saskatchewan and 3 more deaths. There are 8 new cases in the Northwest, 5 of those are in Lloydminster. 1,345 cases are considered active, with 68 of those cases in our zone. 133 people are in hospital, with 5 of those in the Northwest. More than 118,000 vaccine doses have been administered in Saskatchewan, and over 13,000 of those in our zone. With the potential facility coming to Lloydminster, hemp may be new to the border city, but as Eric Bay reports, hemp has a history on the prairies.
Inotech Alberta's Vegreville facility has been studying hemp for years, looking at different uses for the plant, including its CBD properties and as animal feed.
We call it from seed to final product. What it means that under one roof, one organization offers solutions, as I said, viable solutions to a hemp industry from seed. So it means that we have genetics, molecular biology, breeding, then agronomy.
Inotech sees hemp's potential as one of the more valuable crops for producers, thanks to its diversity, leaving no part of the plant wasted.
There's no other crop on the prairies that would be every single bit of this plant can be used, can be sold for money from the farmer's perspective, and we are talking about hemp grown for grain. That's what we've been doing here in Canada for the last 21 years.
Ecoterre has plans to bring a hemp processing facility to Lloydminster, which would turn hemp into textile fibers.
It's a great initiative. People often challenge the city and the area, how are we diversifying? And agriculture is continuously changing and evolving. The different products and plants being grown to produce different products. And hemp is just another one of those products.
A few more farmers are needed by Ecoterre to cover the 12,000 acres of hemp the company needs to secure before a facility would come to Lloydminster. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
Last year, a lot of people were looking for new hobbies, and one of those hobbies included gardening. We spoke with the local greenhouse on the impact the pandemic had on their business and tips for new gardeners. While a lot of businesses saw less customers last spring, Kathy's Greenhouse saw an increase. The business, that's been open for 36 years, said they had a lot of people looking to expand their horizons and learn something new.
We had a great year last year. It happened very quickly. It was a very fast season for us last year. We're normally open till the very end of June for sure, sometimes into July with bedding plants. But last year, I believe it was June 17th or 18th, we actually closed the doors.
And for those looking to start their own garden, Jason has a few tips on what to grow for those who want to improve their green thumb.
We'll start with the basics like carrots, potatoes. If you're doing like on the vegetable side of things, potatoes, carrots, super easy stuff, peas. It's very easy to grow and rewarding. You can get into the cabbages, cauliflowers and that. They're a little more challenging with some pest problems, that happen later in the summer and fall, but they can be extremely rewarding as well.
Now is also the time where you can start to grow your plants inside before you transfer them outside for the spring and summer.
You can start in windowsills, whatever. It doesn't take a lot of space to start seeds. Some of the stuff, if you start them too early, you're going to have them in bigger pots before they can go outside. So you do have to have some space. But otherwise, yeah, windowsills, lots of space to start some seeds. And you want to start, like stuff that's really long season, like peppers and, stuff like that you want started really early. And then, as another week or so, you can start getting more tomatoes going. They'll all be ready to start by then, too.
With the warm weather, there is currently a high demand for plants and seeds, and Kathy's Greenhouse is hoping they can open within the next month.
Tentative date is around the middle of April right now. We'll be open. We might do a pop-up opening in the next week or two for some seeds. Once we get our seed supply in hand, we will open up. We'll do a pop-up for a day or two. People want to get some seeds early. And then our main opening will be around that mid to late April.
All the updates on when they will be open and more information is available on the Kathy's Greenhouse Facebook page. Now our Connor Chan will take a first look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks a lot, Jasmine. Take a look at temperatures. We did break the record today as we were kind of normally this time of year. Last year we were around that, our record, for on this day was around that 7-8 degree mark. We are currently beating that by a little bit here at that high of 13 degrees. Winds picking up a little bit though as we are seeing some cloud coverage, but we are going to see some nice temperatures. Still in those low, around that 4 degree mark we'll see for tomorrow, but as we look at some other areas, lots of double digits in the Lakeland region here. 13 as I mentioned for Lloydminster, 14 in Vermilion, Marwayne, 15 also we see in Wainwright, Provost, 12 for Edmonton and Bakerville, a 10 in St. Paul and Lac La Biche, 13 out in North Battleford as we make our way to Saskatchewan. We see 9 just shy of the 10 degree mark in St. Walburg, 7 degrees in Meadow Lake, and then 10 in Green Lake and 11 in Isle La Crosse. And unfortunately, there may not be some good news you want to hear later tonight, as on around Monday or Tuesday, we could see some rain snow mix coming back, as it's that time of year where we usually get the warmer temperatures, which means we have that, odd fall of snow into spring here. But as we look overnight for North Battleford, we'll see a little bit of clouds there at -3, going to another nice day tomorrow. Nice high of 8 degrees with clear skies throughout the day. -2 overnight in Cold Lake, going into tomorrow 10 degrees throughout the weekend to start on the Saturday there, with mostly sun and a bit of cloud coverage there, and then kind of similar results for us here for tomorrow throughout the day, but -1 is what we'll see overnight tonight, and then 12 again will be our daytime high. So here's a look at the next 3 days. For Sunday, we are going to have a clear day. It's going to get a little cooler on the Sunday with that high of 4 degrees, and as you look on the Monday, as I did mention, we could see a rain snow mix on Monday. Same high there at 4 degrees though, with a low there of -2, so we do have an 85% chance of that occurring, as well as on Thursday. So we could see some snow twice in that 7-day span. We'll show those numbers a little bit later on into the show. That's a first look at weather. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back. Our Shelby Clark spoke with residents in recovery about their mothers and substance abuse treatment and recovery programs on Wednesdays.
Joining me today is Serena Campbell Barnes with Residents in Recovery. Can you tell me what this mothers and substance abuse treatment and recovery programs exactly are?
Yeah. So at Residents in Recovery, we've been over the last period of time looking to develop a family in recoveries program, whose goal is to help parents in recovery that are looking for reunification with their children. And so particularly with the Mothers Program, we know a significant number of women presenting for substance abuse treatment are mothers with children both in and out of their care. Even those mothers who have lost or relinquished custody of their children, most hopefully hope to fully or partially resume their mothering role. Children are often the primary reason that women state for entering a treatment program, and it's often in the hopes that it will increase their chances of having their children return to them and or to begin to redevelop the relationships with their children while they're in recovery. So in fact, we know that most women most often report parenting concerns as their primary motivator to stop using substances. And so similarly with men who are fathers, many also enter with the hopes of regaining or repairing relationships with their children. Yet historically, their parenting concerns have been ignored in the treatment process.
And how long do people have to register for these programs?
Well, the program in itself is a 17-week program, but because of the nature of how Residents in Recovery works, we have an ongoing admission into our program, and also just for people also in the community, sometimes it's not always feasible to start on the initial first date. The group structure allows it to be what's referred to as rolling admission. And so what that means is that a client can enter at any time as long during the process of the group. And so the 17 sessions will run, and which then would be followed by sort of starting over and doing the other 17 sessions. And so at no matter what point in time the woman would join the group, she would be able to complete all 17 sessions.
And how exactly will these programs happen through COVID-19 with all the safety precautions?
Yeah, and so, we've been dealing with that all the way through in terms of all of the program that we've been delivering. We've had to make adjustments at times and do things delivered through video and Zoom and video programs like that. But recently, we've been able to move back into in-person programming and have been able to manage it through, the health, public health suggestions such as masks, frequent hand sanitization of group spaces, so such as tables and chairs. We have group rooms that allow for spacing between individuals. And so we're hoping that the group will be able to be run in an in-person format for the long run. But of course, we also are aware that things have shifted quickly through this COVID experience. And so we do have the ability to transition to video if needed.
And why do you think this is essential to have for mothers in the community, especially?
Yeah, well, women and mothers with substance use problems are an extremely vulnerable population. They face multiple barriers, both at systemic and social levels. At systems levels, many substance dependent mothers are hesitant to seek treatment for their addictions for fear of immediate questions about their children, fears of losing custody of their children. And they often feel powerless as, when systems come involved and, their children are taken away. And so, when that happens for a woman and, she is motivated and seeks the support to obtain treatment, it's important that we support and address those needs that she has as a mother and all of the issues that come a part of that. I think there's this assumption that that everybody should just know how to parent, and that's not always the case. And when mothers complete treatment and with that goal of coming back into the mothering role, and yet throughout their whole treatment experience, none of those pieces, none of the shame, the feelings of guilt, the fear of maybe not knowing how to do it, or even just the stress of going back into that parenting role, how to manage that with the stress of new recovery, trying to find out who I am in my recovery and who I am as a mother. And so when that's not addressed, it often sets women up for getting into that state where they feel overwhelmed, and often in early recovery, that really increases the risk for relapse again, which just sets up that cycle where women are feeling like failures, and where the children are being hurt in this process as well, because they have hopes as the mother enters into treatment that the mom is going to come back into their life. And so we as treatment providers really need to support women along that whole continuum of care, not only in staying clean, but also in how do they transition back into those most important roles in their lives, right? The roles that have actually motivated them for wanting to get clean in the first place.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Serena.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Shelby.
Today I'm joined by Jessie Mann, who's the coordinator for Lloydminster's Youth Council, and she's here to talk about Border Idol, an upcoming talent competition for local students aged 12 to 18. Thanks so much for joining me, Jessie.
Thank you so much for having us.
So where did the idea for this competition come from, and how did it all come together, I guess? It's definitely a cool way to showcase some young local talent.
Yeah, you bet. So Youth Council started in 2015, and we actually hosted a sort of talent show and just musical event at the amphitheater at Bud Miller in the good old days when we could all gather together, and it was so successful. So hosting and giving youth an opportunity to celebrate musically together and to showcase that to the community has been, it's something we've done in the past. And this year, with all of these amazing companies really thinking outside the box and doing lives, we thought, what's one way that we can remind Lloydminster that youth is still here and youth is still so powerful, and just kind of come together in a unique new way. And yeah, LYC Border Idol was born, I guess.
And can you just kind of outline the competition itself? How does your voting system work, and how are participants judged?
Yeah, so they will be judged. We are so lucky to have the new Nissan Lloydminster a part. They are hosting on their live for us. And Kurt Price is such an incredible community member and knows music well. So we have asked him and Eleni Young and Heather Clegis. So they will be the 3 judges. And so after each act, the judges will give them some pointers and also just be there to celebrate each of the youth. And there will also be a Google form. So there will be a survey, unlimited amount of votes, so people can go crazy until the next Live with Kurt Price show. So the judges' cards and the Google form results will both be kind of combined to select the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place.
And you guys are also using this as an opportunity to stir some mental health awareness. Could you just touch base on that a little bit?
Yeah, you know, Lloydminster is incredible, I believe, at reducing stigma. There are so many different initiatives and companies that really dive in and aren't scared to, you know, promote mental health, talk about mental health. And the Youth Council, that has been something that's been important to us since the beginning. And I know that it's also important to the new Nissan Lloydminster. So we have just put together, with the help of Kim Caporal with Nara Studios, a new public service announcement. So this video will follow 3 different people on their journeys with stress and anxiety. And it's a really great video that highlights all kinds of tips and tricks to keep your mental health positive, keep you healthy. And we will be showcasing that again with the, thank you so much to new Nissan Lloydminster. We will be showcasing that at intermission.
And before we say goodbye, when and where is Border Idol taking place, and how can people tune in virtually or submit votes?
Absolutely. So we are so lucky again. Everything will be hosted on the new Nissan Lloydminster's Facebook page. We have Cody Maz Entertainment. We've got Kim Caporal. They're all going to kind of make the magic happen. So this will hopefully feel and will feel a little bit like Lloydminster's take on American Idol. And yeah, so everybody can follow us there on March 27th. If you go start liking their pages now, so you get those reminders, and sit back, relax. The evening of March 27th will start at 8. And you can sit back, listen to the youth. We'll have lots of information throughout all of the acts, as well as obviously our mental health premiere, our video premiere. And yeah, you'll have your chance to vote as well. So we hope everybody sits back, watches, and has some fun.
Thanks so much for doing this, Jessie.
Thank you so much for having us.
You've got an opportunity to share some great stories and spark the imagination of families right here in the community with a charity book drive that just launched. All the books that are collected through this drive are going to be given to a number of organizations in the city, including the Lloydminster Youth Council, Big Brothers Big Sisters, and more. So if you're finding that you need more space on your bookshelves, well, you can donate some great books, some great stories to this great cause. You can drop off your donations at Hanka Law, Divorce and Mediation here in Lloydminster. Maybe you've got some planters at your home that are like this, just waiting for a beautiful splash of color, some great greenery. Well, you can order some gorgeous hanging baskets and more through a fundraiser through the Vic Juba Community Theatre. You go online to their website and there's a number of different options that you can choose from that are going to come from Wickham Nurseryland. So maybe you want hanging baskets, or maybe you'd like a herb garden or a succulent garden. It's up to you to make that choice and support a great cause. Head online today, vicjubatheatre.ca, and your order will be ready just in time for Mother's Day. Well, there certainly isn't much snow left here on the city streets in Lloydminster, but at Mountjoy Snow Resort, they are very hopeful that they've got enough snow left to be open again this weekend. Make sure you keep your eye on their Facebook page. That's where they will be making an announcement about whether or not they're going to be open for skiing this weekend. You can, however, still place your bid in their online auction. They're raising funds for Project Magic Carpet. For all the details, head to their website, mountjoyresort.com. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Well, joining us for the weekly entertainment panel, as always, is Abby St. John. Abby, the Oscar list is finally out, and of course some big news coming from the Oscars announcing that they are going to do it in person. They're not going to do it through Zoom. Of course, we kind of got a feel for that with the Golden Globes, with only the one technical difficulty, but it'll be nice to actually see the awards in person, and also some notable nominees that that were released as well. So just give us kind of your overall thoughts on when you saw the list and what we could possibly expect.
Yeah, we did mention this a couple weeks ago that there could be crossover from the Golden Globes, the winners. That's happened. It's not a new thing. So there's a possibility that we could see the same people win the awards. Like you said, it's going to be in person. They wanted to do something different apart from the Globes and the Emmys. So they don't have any Zoom option. So celebrities that don't want to attend the show in person will not have the option to stream it through Zoom and be a part of it that way. It has to be done in person. And they're really trying to make sure that it's the safest and most enjoyable part as possible, obviously, due to the current situation. But a couple of the nominations that I thought stood out, obviously, I really hope that Chadwick Boseman wins for Best Actor, and I think he will. I can't see why he wouldn't. Frances McDormand has been nominated for Best Actress, and if she wins, this will be her third win for this category. She won back in 1997 for her first time for her role in Fargo, and then in 2018 she won for 3 Billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. So she's got a lot of talent backing her up, and so I think if she does pull this off, a third win is definitely deserving. And then also something that really stood out to me that I found when I was looking through the nominations is that there's 2 women nominated for Best Director, and if one of those women does win, it will be the only the second time in Oscars history that a woman has won Best Director. The first being back in 2009, Catherine Bigelow won for The Hurt Locker. So I'm hoping for that. I think that would be really amazing to see, and so I'm very excited for the Oscars, as I am every single year. So I think this is going to be a good show, definitely different from the award shows that we've seen throughout the pandemic. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do it, and if there's any hiccups or any bumps along the way, or if it'll be smooth sailing.
And one of the other nominees that really stood out to me and I was really excited about, you mentioned Nomadland, Chloe Zhao, one of those women that are nominated. Of course, with Minari that won Best Foreign Film at Golden Globes, it's great to see that Asian representation still being at the Oscars. We saw it last year with Parasite, with Bong Joon-ho taking on pretty much almost all the awards there for directing and Best Picture. We saw it there, and Steven Yeun is also getting his first Academy Award nomination. Of course, we all know him from Glenn from The Walking Dead. Mank leads the way with 10 nominations, and then Daniel Kaluuya possibly is kind of the favorite right now for Best Supporting Actor after winning the Golden Globe, but his co-star Lakeith Stanfield is also nominated for that movie as well. And Riz Ahmed from The Sound of Metal could possibly, maybe in my mind, be a dark horse. He does play that character really well as a deaf drummer. And one thing also, Abby, just before we wrap up for today's panel, Marvel did release the new series, and of course we all know the success of WandaVision had over the past couple of months. Now Marvel's on to its next series here with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Our first episode dropped, of course, on the Friday. So talk about what we could expect now going forward and what this could mean down the road for Marvel.
Yes, I watched it as soon as it dropped. I think it was about 10 to 1 in the morning when it dropped, and I was able to watch it. Fantastic. It's a great first episode. It does a wonderful job at introducing what we should expect going forward, the conflicts that arise between Sam and Bucky separately, the struggles that they go through separately, what they are experiencing after the blip, because this is taking place around 6 months after the blip after Steve Rogers is gone. So it's just showcasing how it's affecting them mentally, physically, what they're going to do next. And I think the first episode did an excellent job at setting up the rest of the series. And I don't think it's going to disappoint. They already had a pretty sick fight scene happening at the beginning of the episode, so I think we're going to be very excited for this series. And if it's anything like WandaVision, amazing, and anything like MCU produces, the rest of the series is going to be incredible, and I'm very excited for it.
And of course, we'll see what movies it kind of ties into down the road here in future projects. Abby St. John, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast for the weekend. We are going to have some nice weather on Saturday with that high at 12 degrees, a little bit of cloud coverage with some sun in the mix there with 4 degrees on Sunday as we start to cool down a little bit, because on Monday we are expecting around an 80% chance of a rain-snow mix throughout the day, where we could see maybe up to 3 centimeters of snow for Monday. Going into Tuesday, the snow will stop at 6 degrees there. Wednesday, 7 for the rest of the day there. We could see some of that rain-snow mix come back Wednesday night, carry over into Thursday, where we could again see maybe 1 to 3 centimeters of that snowfall there at 4 degrees. And then 5 degrees on Friday with a low of -5 to wrap up the 7 days. We usually average around 0 for this time of year, and -9 is usually our average daytime low.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great night.